discuss this later. So.
You have taste in a way that's meaningful to software people.
Hello, I'm Bill Gates.
I would recommend TypeScript. Yeah, it writes a lot of code for me, and usually it's slightly wrong.
I'm reminded incidentally of Rust here.
Thus,
Rust.
Congressman, iPhone is made by a different company, and so
You will not learn Rust while skydiving.
Well, I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what's going on.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you today about large neural networks. It's really an honor to be here.
Rust.
Data topics.
welcome to the data.
Welcome to the Datatopics podcast.
Hello, and welcome to Datatopics Unplugged, your casual corner of the web where we discuss what's new in data every week. From AI to cloud, anything goes. Today is what's today? Today is the 14th of May of 2024. My name is Murillo. I'll be hosting you today. Whew, long day, yeah. I'm joined by the one and only Bart.
Good afternoon.
And behind the mic, the sound engineer keeping the lights on, Alex.
Hello, hello.
We're also live on YouTube. We're live on LinkedIn. We're live on X. We're live on Twitch. All the goods. So feel free to check us out there. Feel free to leave a comment or question. We'll try to address them in the live stream. And yeah, hang out with us virtually. So maybe first things first. How are you doing, Bart? How are you doing, Alex?
Yes. I'm doing quite well.
Last weekend was a long weekend, huh?
Last weekend was a very long weekend here in Belgium, yeah.
Very long weekend.
Yeah, we had Thursday, Friday off.
Yeah. The way you say it was almost too long. You're like, I can't. Milo, where are you?
It felt a bit like vacation with the realization on Sunday that you had to start working again. But next Monday is again a day off.
I know. I feel like we work on sprints, right? And then usually, this sprint is 2 weeks. It's like, we're gonna do this done, and then halfway through, you kind of realize like this is such a short month. There's so many holidays, and then you don't get as much stuff done. But any special plans? Did you do anything fun on the long?
I worked in my garden.
Nice. With chickens. The chickens. Yes, it's true.
I also fed the chickens, yeah.
Okay. Cool. What about you, Alex? Anything fun?
Yeah, I visited my parents.
Nice.
And they have chickens nearby.
Oh, wow.
So
Wow, I'm
got to
feeling
see them.
so left out right now.
It's really a chicken-themed weekend
I know.
for most of us.
And I'm very pro chickens, ever since I heard or I learned that here in Belgium, it's kind of somewhat common, to have chickens. You give them the leftover food, they give you eggs. Feels like a good deal. And I've always been advocating for chickens, but I've never been a chicken father.
Why didn't you get a chicken?
I think I have 2 dogs, right? It's a bit I'm not sure how they are going to be with the chickens, and I also feel like you need
typically there's like an enclosure.
Yeah, but then you need
keep
to
the chickens.
That's the thing. You need a setup, right? And I'm not a house owner as well, so it's like then we have to modify the house, which we could do, but then it also feels like we're doing something.
Modify the house? Like the chickens don't live in the house, they're in the garden.
Well, your chickens don't. Okay.
We're gonna give them a bedroom.
But actually, they do have the little houses, right? That they can go in and then the door closed. I saw
the chicken coop.
I think so. Yeah.
But it's outside.
It's outside. Okay. Well, your chickens. I'm gonna treat one like my own. But yeah, for people that didn't know, that's a thing in Belgium. My weekend was also good. We went on a car trip to Normandy and Etretat.
Oh, nice.
With my dogs as well. The only thing is that on the way back we got a lot of traffic. So Monday I was really tired, and but today I'm feeling better. Well, yeah, it felt like a short week because I try to really turn off when I'm on holidays. And we recorded last one on Tuesday, Wednesday working, then was already yesterday, right? So nonetheless, a lot of stuff happened. In fact, last week, we just missed Stack Overflow and OpenAI deal. Is that right?
We missed I don't think we missed it. I think it happened before our podcast, but after our podcast, there was a lot of fuss in the community about it.
So maybe, what was the deal about, Bart?
The exact contents of the deal, I'm not really familiar with. What I understand is that Stack Overflow wants to use OpenAI's capabilities I think it goes both ways. Stack Overflow wants to use OpenAI's capabilities. OpenAI wants to use the content of Stack Overflow, and they struck a deal around this. And then there was a lot of uproar within the Stack Overflow community because there was no way for content creators within Stack Overflow, so really people working actively on giving answers to questions on Stack Overflow, to opt out of OpenAI using their data for training data. There was no. There's still. I still think there still is no way to opt out. So users started deleting content, but as a protest, I think, and then Stack Overflow blocked users from deleting their own content. Oof. So that felt very awkward, of course.
Yeah, I think, yeah. The whole thing is a bit awkward because first is I do feel like Stack Overflow, if they didn't partner with OpenAI, they were just gonna die, right? Like I think a lot of people go to ChatGPT to ask questions instead of like scrolling through.
ChatGPT definitely overlaps in some extent with Stack Overflow's value proposition. Eh?
Yeah, I would say a lot.
Where Stack Overflow is, I have a problem, a technical coding problem, whatever, that I'm not sure how to solve.
Yeah.
I can ask it on Stack Overflow, and probably someone has already asked it.
Yeah. But that's the thing. But I feel like a lot of the times when you're going to Stack Overflow, someone asked it, but it's not exactly your context. So like you still need to change it a bit, or you still need to read another question or two. And I think with OpenAI, they already digested a bit for your context. So it's even like more tailor-made in a way. So in a way, it's nicer. There's also another. It's not ChatGPT, but it's called find.com. I'm not sure this is. I'm also putting this on the screen. This is just find with a ph.com, which is, again, it's specialized for development, I guess. But they also, if you have a question, they'll also search documentation and Stack Overflow. So probably what a developer would do as well. And then again, they also digest it a bit. So it's a bit of like kind of like a RAG application, but with a search engine and all these things. So yeah, again, I do feel like I do see the move from Stack Overflow. I think it makes sense in a way. I think it was a bit of friction there that if you remove, I think it's better for everyone. But also I remember that in the beginning, OpenAI, there were reports that OpenAI had jobs for people to solve coding challenges or answer questions as part of their position to feed the machine. Right, so which is kind of like what Stack Overflow is kind of doing in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So yeah,
what do you think is what does the future hold for Stack Overflow?
I think it's going to be a flavor of OpenAI,
like a conversational UI.
Yeah, but I think it's like
it will not be like sort of announced today as a bit of a forum, like you post your stuff and you have a thread on.
Yeah,
and then it will be more conversational.
I think it will be. Well, I do still feel like there should be you post a question and people answer, because technology is always evolving, right? So I still think you need that. But I think it will be a bit of a mix, like maybe you ask a question, ChatGPT will try to answer, and it will say, did answer your question? No. And then you post it on the question forum. And then maybe I don't know if they're going to try to monetize this more, like people that contribute more to Stack Overflow will have some benefits, some perks, right? Because today, people that do contribute to Stack Overflow, you get like reputation and stuff, right?
True.
But I think that's about it, right? There's no additional.
You get badges.
Yeah. So like you have bragging rights.
Yeah.
Maybe a fun fact: Jonas, correct me if I'm wrong.
Co-founder of Dataroots.
Co-founder of Dataroots. He's one of the top Stack Overflow answers for the R community. Is that correct?
Back in the day, yeah.
Back in the day. So he has a lot of bragging rights on Stack Overflow, but he's a humble guy, so he never brings it up. But Jonas, shout out to Jonas.
Oh, he's actually top 7% overall.
Top 7% overall of R or
everything.
Really?
Yeah.
Hold on, I need to try to put this on the screen. Huh? What's this?
If you just type Jonas Tundo Stack Overflow, you get it.
Let's see. User Jonas Tundo. This is the one and only.
It says top 7% overall there.
Wow.
Impressive, huh?
Look at that. So Jonas, if you OpenAI, they start giving credits to the the top people, Jonas is in a good position. Everyone's gonna be piggyback. Everyone's gonna be Jonas's best friend.
But I do think, like the future of Stack Overflow, I do think it's interesting to think a bit about this as like it will come closer to OpenAI, like conversational, like find.com, for example. But I think it's interesting to have this a bit as a backlog, a bit of a training data set. Like maybe it's conversational, but like you have users that validate this and say, okay, this is a correct solution. So you have a bit of a backlog on at that point, this was the correct answer. Maybe it evolved, and then we will need this data.
Yeah, I think it will blend in somehow.
Yeah.
Right. Because again, and also Stack Overflow, they do encourage people to upvote, to reply, to add comments, but with this system, and maybe now you already have a system that encourages people to do these things.
Yeah.
And now with the ChatGPT, it's validate these things more. So I think it's a good, I think it could be really interesting.
And I think if we see it as a data source for more RAG-like applications, I think the space that it fills, which typical documentation around the library does not fill, is like the interconnection between libraries and systems. Like I want to use this in that context. That's the type of questions you see there, which you are typically do not see very clearly answered in the documentation of library X.
Yeah, but actually I feel like they do a blend between Stack Overflow answers and documentation.
So you're saying it already existed?
It exists in a version of that, right? So, but I do feel like this will bring it closer, the platforms and all the things. I think it will be UI will be a bit nicer maybe, but and also Stack Overflow, if I'm not mistaken, they're pretty open in terms of their data, right? Like I think on BigQuery you can actually download a dump of Stack Overflow questions.
Okay,
I think so. There's a public data set. I think they update it daily. I don't know if it's all of Stack Overflow, but I wonder as well if with this OpenAI will make it less open, which is a bit ironic because OpenAI. But anyways, do you think that it's a thing? Do you think that Stack Overflow services will change a lot with this deal, or do you think it will?
To be seen.
To be seen. And as you mentioned, some people were not happy about this, so they started trying to delete their posts and whatnot. Right. So this is the article as well, and again, everything will be in the show notes. Anti-AI users. Do you understand? Maybe why were people so against it, or do you know?
I think you always have with everything in life, you have people on extreme sides.
But what's the main argument for not wanting your data to be? You just don't want to give more money to the big players. You don't want to.
Well, if I would try to put myself in the position of the Stack Overflow users that are now angry because they can't opt out, I think it's the inability to opt out. So I will see this as my data because I created it, and I want to have some control over what happens to it from the moment it's something else than for the purpose I created it for.
Yeah, I see. But I guess it's like if you say that the purpose you created it for is to help other developers, then it is, like...
Well, again, in their shoes, like it was for the purpose of helping other users of Stack Overflow, not to help OpenAI train their data set.
Yeah.
Build their data set, right?
Yeah, I see. Fair point. But, for me, it's not an existential thing, Maybe I would have an opinion, but...
But maybe you didn't spend 16 hours every week creating content.
Yeah,
that is now taken away from you, and someone else is profiting of it.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I think it's more like people are making money off of it. But I think it's like we talked about Ruff and the guy that Anthony, that he really moved the Python linting ecosystem, and then he was saying, okay, now people are just translating to Rust, and now they're making money. And I think it's a bit of that. It's like when you publish it to Stack Overflow, you're like, okay, this is going to be free. I'm not going to make money off of it. It's there. It's Stack Overflow now. It's on their database. But now someone found a way to make a lot of money from it. And now you're like, now I don't want this anymore. But like, I also feel like the moment that you decide to do this, it's kind of fair game, right? Like it's a Stack Overflow now. They own the data technically, no?
I don't know the terms and conditions, but I think there's a difference feeling wise. If you create something for the community and you say, I'm going to make this library, and this library, someone else builds a SaaS platform, and one of the hundreds of libraries that has been used is mine.
Yeah.
Versus there is this company that just takes my library and builds a hosted service around it, and basically just like 90% of what they do is take my free stuff and
make money
off of it.
Yeah.
It's a different feeling, right? And I think that is a bit the feeling that
I
these Stack Overflow contributors have.
Have you talked to Jonas about this? Maybe he's one of those.
I haven't actually. Maybe try deleting every.
You have to knocked on his door. He's like, 1 second, and he's like, red, like furiously typing away. Okay. OpenAI also apparently is gonna have more deals coming up, namely with Apple. I don't think this is confirmed.
Rumored, right?
Rumored. Indeed.
Tell us about the rumored deal.
So I don't know all the ins and outs, right? I saw some stuff on X Twitter, and I saw some stuff. I mean, I saw there were some articles and whatnot. The gist is, as far as I can tell, that Apple reportedly will close a deal. It's a rumor with OpenAI, and then the speculation is that ChatGPT will be the new Siri.
Yeah. And this rumor has come up again because we actually discussed this few months ago, right?
I believe so. I think, but again, Apple has been linked to every artificial lab over the past few months from Google Gemini. So I think there was some discussion. I think I don't remember all the details. So if anyone has this fresh on their mind, but I did remember something about Gemini and Apple. But I think what we all kind of agree is that Siri, it's very subpar compared to the other.
Siri is shit.
I was being political, but yes, it's pretty shit. So yeah, again, maybe ChatGPT will be the new Siri. Here's Siri 2.0. What do you think of that? Do you think it's a good move? Do you think it's a bad move? I also saw on the Twitter thread that some people, they were not very excited about this, because I feel like we do, like, I'm imagining that Apple still has a Siri team, right? There's still people working on this, but like then you go externally, then you kind of giving up on your internal people. What do you think of that?
I think what we will see is that I think it's good because Siri needs to improve quickly. Siri is really shitty. Like if you get Siri to actually do a phone call, you're happy. Right? There's a lot that can be improved in Siri. What we've seen over the last year coming from Apple, they don't have the bandwidth to really go to a Siri V2 that is impressive in the coming months. With OpenAI backing them, they probably have.
Yeah,
and I think what we will see if it comes to a deal is that Siri will probably be OpenAI powered in the coming year, and that Apple in parallel will work on their own model.
You think they would still work on their own model?
I think so, yeah. I think it's so core to what they do.
Yeah.
And we've already seen a lot of, like, they open source some stuff. We hear some rumors around Apple being involved in LLM research.
I think that's the thing that is a bit weird, because it is something very core, but they're going to someone external, right? And I feel like they made a lot of noise about the Apple Vision Pro, which is not their core, I would say. But we haven't heard any big announcements about Gen AI.
No, because I think any big announcements will raise expectations a lot. But I do think so. Like we have seen, like, we know that they're open sourcing some stuff that is related, that allows us to efficiently work with models on their new M chips. I
think these articles
we do have some hints that they're working on this, and I think that they will work in parallel to actually have their own model, a bit like Microsoft is doing. Yeah, like Microsoft has betted very heavily on OpenAI and it's paying off for them. But they're also still working on their own model, which is called May1, apparently. Probably is the code name, MAI1, where there was a bit of rumors coming out last week on Twitter, X, where it's that they're apparently working on a really large-scale model that might even rival the likes of OpenAI, Anthropic, and stuff. So they're doing this also in parallel, even though they are very heavily leveraged on OpenAI.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And I think we will see a bit the same way if the Apple OpenAI deal goes through.
Yeah, this one, right, that you mentioned. MAI one.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, actually, I didn't know about this. Yeah, I see what you're saying. And I tend to agree. I tend to agree as well. Also, this is for completion. This is the comment from Twitter that I saw. A very poor business move, if true, would strongly indicate, in combination with other recent shutterings of long-term projects, that there's a turgidity innovation vacuum at Apple. And I think that's the vibe, that's the taste that I get. You know, like Apple is known to be so innovative, but on the Gen AI, they've been really behind, right? Like the Siri is not good. They're not making announcements. No one's been talking about it, which is a bit goes a bit against the DNA of the company.
I don't know. Maybe that's
too much. Okay.
I mean, they also went. They came from what was it? The PowerPC chips that they very heavily controlled. They went to Intel because they didn't have something, and then a few years later, they actually moved to their own chipsets. I mean, it's the same strategy in the end.
Yeah, true. And it is true. Like I do, like yeah, that's the thing. I do hear about like the chips that you can program on the from Edge, basically AI stuff. But I find it more because like I was digging through it and oh yeah, like Apple has these chips and you can program these things and you can try to run it and it should be more efficient and they have like a vectorized thing. But I feel like I almost found it by chance, you know.
Yeah, but I think Apple is also, if you compare this to other companies like Google, for example, and like Apple, I think typically does a big announcement when it's really UX-wise something that is decent, that is mature, that is there to stay. I have the feeling. Versus Google that very quickly release something, kills it 2 months later, releases something new a month later. Like
actually, maybe it's something we can actually dive in another episode. But the Rabbit R1, the device. I was reading some reviews because we did bring it up a while ago, and then I didn't hear any more about it. And then I was actually looking for these reviews, and people said exactly that it felt really like backwards engineering sales thing. It's like they have something half baked, and then they sell it to everyone. They make a lot of noise, and then they are now trying to work on it. Very weird. So I didn't buy one.
That's what you need to do to get investors on board.
I guess, yeah. But now it's like
create hype.
But it's like it's very short-sighted, no? Like you're not gonna go far with this strategy, right?
I don't know, because the hype field, everybody's a bit here. Huh? Like you need to, at the same time, you can't develop in stealth for 5 years and then come with something.
Yeah,
you need user feedback as well. Huh?
But like, I just feel like it was so hyped, the Rabbit R1 thing. Like they made the announcement. I remember someone saying like, "Oh yeah, the Steve Jobs, like exactly the same. They put so much money, you know, like, you know." Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's a me problem. And are we done with OpenAI announcements, Bart?
Not exactly.
No, we're not. OpenAI galore. This past week, it's been busy for them.
Yeah.
What happened with what else? I think maybe that's what people would expect us to start diving in.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, GPT-4o. What is GPT-4o?
Of GPT-4. And I think it's best to look at the video that you just put on the screen. People can follow via audio as well to have a bit of a view on what that is.
Yeah. In this one.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey there. It's going great. How about you? I see you're rocking an OpenAI hoodie. Nice choice. What's up with that ceiling, though? Are you in a cool industry-style office or something?
Well, can you take a guess at what I might be doing based on what I'm showing you here?
From what I can see, it looks like you're in some kind of recording or production setup. With those lights, tripods, and possibly a mic, it seems like you might be gearing up to shoot a video or maybe even a live stream.
Yeah. In fact, we've got a new announcement to make.
That's exciting. Announcements are always a big deal. Judging by the setup, it looks like it's going to be quite the professional production. Is this announcement related to OpenAI, perhaps?
It is. And in fact, what if I were to say that you're related to the announcement, or that you are the announcement?
Me? The announcement is about me? Well, color me intrigued. Are you about to reveal something about AI? Or more specifically about me as a part of OpenAI? You've got me on the edge of my... Well, I don't really have a seat, but you get the idea. What's the big news?
First impressions. Alex, I know you have a... Sorry to put you on the spot. What do you think about this?
I just can't get over the laugh. It's
The laugh. It's creepy, yeah?
It is a bit creepy.
It is creepy. You know what I think? Immediately, the movie Her. You know? It's really like it's a female voice, you know. It's like, color me intrigued, you know. It's like it has a lot of what I think it's creepy.
It's a very nuanced voice, huh?
Yeah, but like the
not
intonation is like they, for example, the laughter. That's just a filler that humans do, right? For a computer, it makes no. But like, why would you need or maybe say ums? You know, like usually humans do that to give you time to think, and but computers
to
do
look
that.
human.
Exactly, but it's very like she says. Me, you know, like even with the intonation, you know, there's a lot of like language is very rich. It's not just the actual content, right? It's the delivery, the timing, the pitch, you know, there's a lot of stuff there.
So the premise here of GPT-4o is that you can use the ChatGPT-4 app on your phone to have like this seamless combination of video, text, and audio.
And it says here it can reason about these things in real time. That's the other thing I was going to say. At least in this demo video, the response is very snappy. Like they don't wait at all to get the response, right? Which even makes me wonder if they're doing something on the device, but I very doubt it because it looks like it's an iPhone. So
I'm very curious to try it. I tried it today on my mobile app. It wasn't available yet, but I was also working on a project where we integrate OpenAI, and it was actually already available in the API.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I haven't tried it via the API.
But via the API is like you have to use a voice something for the API.
But you can probably stream audio to there. I haven't checked it out. That is,
yeah, but I think so. Again, ChatGPT-4o. Actually, before this announcement, there was a lot of noise. Like, what are they gonna do? Even on the on other articles, they were speculating that they're gonna announce like a voice assistant because they did a partnership with Apple. But turns out it was this 4o. Does this mean is the actual intelligence, quote unquote? And I put a lot of quotes there. Is it better or is it more like the audio, vision, and all these things?
Is it a question to me? I don't know. Like you're asking me if the model actually changed, the underlying model.
Yeah, is it like if the model?
I think it's more tightly integrated, right? But
yeah. So here, maybe for the people that are just listening, ChatGPT-4o, O for Omni. I'm not sure why they needed to explain that because to me it didn't add any information for me. This is a side note, anyways. Is a step towards much more natural human-computer interaction. It accepts input from any combination of text, audio, and image, and generates any combination of text, audio, and image outputs. So again, it feels like it's more of the human interface that they're working on, like the sound and the video and all these things, right? So,
and in that sense, the reasoning is probably like you have a richer context because it's not just what you're typing in the prompt, but it's also like potentially like the video that you're showing, everything that you're hearing around you. So you have a richer context. So potentially the reasoning is better because of that, right?
Yeah, indeed. So in here, maybe I'll answer my own questions on the announcement here. They have a few graphs on the evaluation. So you see 4o, it looks like it's a bit better. But for example, Llama 300B, which is probably billion parameters, it's also up there. ChatGPT-4 initial release is also up there. So the text part for this benchmark seems like it's okay. Yeah, like it looks like it's ballpark close to other models.
It's more or less GPT-4 Turbo, right?
Yeah. But then I guess if you go on the other ones, so for audio, they have Whisper and GPT Zero Shot. Actually, Whisper V3 shows like it's better. Audio translation performance, and they have Zero Shot results and visual understanding evaluation. So they have a lot of stuff there, and I guess the main.
But I think their OpenAI is again the first one to do this Omni approach. Yeah, we have all these inputs together.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
true.
So I'm very curious to see how I would leverage ChatGPT quite a bit in my day-to-day work. I'm curious to see how this will integrate.
Do you have a name for your ChatGPT?
No, not really.
Do you go like, I'm feeling sad. Can you tell me I look nice today? And it's, oh yeah.
Is that how you do it?
No, I don't use ChatGPT. Just swipe. No, but I do feel like I get very Her, like the movie Her vibes a lot.
Well, what is interesting about this as well is that like this brings Gen AI even closer to users, right? And we see also in the long announcement video, somewhere towards the end, like there's someone that is asking, and it's not exactly how they're like. I'm very much paraphrasing here. Like they are asking, like, can you interpret the emotion on my face? And it gets an answer like, yeah, you look excited, something like that. But the problem with that, or potential problem, and it links back a bit to our previous episode last week where we discussed the AI Act, is that currently the AI Act within Europe says that interpreting emotions or doing something with emotions in a work or school context is prohibitive use. So it's actually completely blocked. So it should not be allowed. So we will probably see a limited version where we have some guardrails in place where the questions like these are blocked from users in Europe.
But I think it's like they have this general thing, very general, and now they're trying to cap it. But I feel like there are always going to be ways around it, right?
I think so. So
I think it's going to be very. I mean, it's not going to be a perfect system. I mean, perfectly would be if you never put the data in the training data, right? But interesting. Yeah, interesting to see how it's gonna. I was also thinking for bias in AI, right? Like different facial, like different ethnicities, right? If it's gonna be perceived the same, like the vision. I mean, there's a lot of different like accents as well, different languages, right? I do think that now it's something so generic. I would be very surprised if the model is not performing much better for a certain ethnic group.
Oh yeah.
You know, in terms of vision, audio, everything.
There are always going to be ways around it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Maybe one question that we had internally: speaking with ChatGPT do you think it will be totally fine? Everyone would do this. It will be the new normal. You'll be waking up, put your AirPods on, just walk around, say, hey ChatGPT, can you tell me what I'm going to do today? And then you would just kind of tell you. Do you think it would be weird?
I think we would already do this if Siri was better.
Yeah, that's true. But like the Google Assistant, Android or whatever, right? I think there's also the Google, Hi Google, and there's also another one, no?
I have no clue.
Yeah. But I feel like none of them are very good, huh?
No, but today's all very basic. Like, can you please call this, or can you please send this message to X? Like these, can you open this application? Like, it's all very basic. Like, it's too basic to actually do stuff, right?
Yeah, I think so.
But when I can say, open Spotify, set that playlist, open that playlist and put it on shuffle, I would do it.
You would do it?
I would do that today. Like if I'm in the car, I'm going to just say that out loud.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I agree. I feel like if it's better, if it's more conversational, I think people will use it more. And I think today is just so clunky that it's not very, we're not very motivated to do it, right?
Today is very super clunky. Like if I'm happy if I get Spotify to open via Siri.
And do you think okay, this is the more controversial, I guess. Do you think we'll ever get to more like of a her kind of thing? People will just chat with it. Because actually I did see it was like therapists, like AI therapists or something.
It's a bit
it's weird, huh? Like
it's weird,
it's really the beginning of a Black Mirror episode.
Yeah.
But I do feel like the more human it sounds like, you know, with the laughter, it's like, hey ChatGPT, you want to hear a joke? And then the joke sucks. But it's like, oh my god, you're so funny. You know?
It makes me think of there was I think last week. I think there was from this dating website, Bumble. Is it correct? I want to say Bumble, something like that.
Yeah, they included ChatGPT.
Yeah, so you have like if you have a profile on this website, Bumble. Is it called Bumble? It's Bumble. Yeah. If you have a profile on this website, like you get like a dedicated chat assistant. And that chat assistant then dates other people's chat assistants for you to see if there's a match.
What? Really?
Really? That was the announcement. I don't know if they already have it, but that.
And then you come back with like 5 little chatbots. It's like, wow, that's crazy. But so your chatbot. This is really like a Black Mirror episode. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like there are a couple episodes I can think of, because there was one that was exactly. It starts like this. It starts with the premises. There's the husband and wife. The husband dies, and then the wife says, "Okay, based on all the chat, like the SMS, the history, we can create a personalized chatbot to imitate your husband, and then you can chat with it. Hey, how are you? And then you can always, since she hits the limits, right? You can only have so many conversations. Then you can upgrade, and there was even this like humanoid robot that you can actually have. And then people like, she's like, no, it's not that. And then like she starts really getting at it, and then her friends always like cut her off, and then it ends with once a year he has a date with her dead husband, which is the robot, you know, and it's very like the kids go away. It's like super weird,
but this becomes very close to being a reality. Yeah,
very close. It's creepy. Yeah,
today we find it creepy. Maybe it's normal in 10 years.
Maybe your kids, it will be a.
Maybe in 10 years you will say, people will ask you, if let's say you're single, you're looking for a partner, people ask you, how was your evening last evening? And you will say, I had 5 days, and you just sat on your couch and did nothing, watched TV. But it was your chat assistant at all the dates.
But so Bumble, so maybe going back to that, how does it work? Like your chatbot goes on dates with other chatbots, and then they report back to you like, hey, I had a really good time with that chatbot.
No, I think that they just assist you, like how Grammarly works. So you'll write a sentence and they can make it better for you. I think that's how it would work.
Okay.
But I think there was also something like that chatbots would date the other's chatbots. Something like that.
I don't know. I have Bumble BFF, so the friend version. And I looked into it, but I couldn't use it yet.
Okay,
I was very curious to see. Yeah.
So you can update us on this in a few months.
Yeah. So it's Bumble ChatGPT.
That's cool.
Dating profile GPT. No, I don't know. Interesting. And also one comment here that GPT-4o gives Chappy vibes. So Kiran Pao Singh. I'm sorry, I'm probably butchering your name, but. Yeah, I do feel like gives me these Chappie, I think, is the robot, right? Like that
I have no idea.
I think I watched this like robot, and then like a gang tries to teach him how to like rob stuff, and he's like, no, but I'm a good robot. And all these things are creepy. But maybe it is the new normal. Maybe I'm just slowly being left behind. You know, I'm just so yeah. You think it would be totally normal to just chat with ChatGPT?
I think so.
That's what most people within data roots also thought. 5 people said they thought it would be weird and no one would do it. And then one person said Zoomers will do it and call me a boomer. I don't even know what Zoomers are. But
Gen Z?
I guess, yeah.
Which gen are you?
I don't even know. If I was born in 95, then I'm.
Oh, I think that's right on
the cutoff.
Yeah.
So I can choose. Alex is like, I think so. And you're Alex, you are?
I'm definitely Gen Z.
Definitely Gen Z.
Yeah.
And you are, Bart? It's fine. Next question.
Yes, let's
go. Cool. Maybe more on AI stuff.
Not so much.
I know, right? Maybe
it's very hard to keep up with all of this, huh?
It's very hard. Again, we have an idea. If we should put like the news, at the bottom, like the strip for the live stream. You know how we have news anchors, and at the bottom there's like scrolling,
like a ticker, or like the scrolling.
The scrolling thing. There's like, oh yeah, this announced this, and
like
this
a live
thing.
This model got released.
Exactly,
that model got released.
Exactly, and we should have like a Gen AI bot to scroll the web for that. So it's Gen AI report and Gen AI. Very meta.
Very meta.
What is this about? So Claude from Anthropic. So you actually know more about this than I do, Bart. But as I understand,
well, to me, this is a bit old news. It is relevant because Claude has a new model. Anthropic has a new model, Claude 3, but already, I want to say 2 months now. And when they released it, they have like a UI, a bit like a chatbot UI, like ChatGPT, but it was not available in the EU. And now they release it in the EU.
Yeah.
But it was already the model was already available in the EU via the API.
Yeah.
And so we are already, I think we're in general already familiar with it. Claude 3, especially the large version of that Opus model, is in my eyes very comparable to GPT-4 Turbo, for example. They now also have a free tier. I think it's called Sonnet, which is a smaller model, which is like 3.5, GPT 3.5-ish performance.
Yeah. Did you read Vitaly's message, or because that's exactly what he said?
I did.
Word by word.
I did.
But shout out to Vitaly as well for sharing this. Yeah, indeed. So, well, the promise was, reading from Vitaly's message here, that the Sonnet, according to their benchmarks, is better than ChatGPT 4 at coding. So coding only. But then he did an update that he did a quick test, and he saw it's very similar to ChatGPT 3.5. So then it's old news. Like this is so 2 months ago, you know.
But
completely
it's
old.
like, I think, and it's a bit like with ChatGPT. Like if you really are actively using this day to day, you're not going to use the free tier.
Yeah,
it's good
true.
to teach you, but it's not what you're going to use day to day.
Yeah, that's true.
Unless you have a very specific use case where you need to scale up and cost becomes a factor and something else.
But I'm just yeah. But I guess it's also another thing. Yeah, there's so many AI models now that it's like which one you're going to choose. And to me, today I would just go for OpenAI. I mean, even OpenAI has so many models, huh? It's like sometimes like, okay, I have this very simple task, and then which ChatGPT model version should I use, right? There's 3.5, 3, 3.5 turbo, 3. I mean, some of it is obvious, right? If you need a big context window, you can just go for this or that. But then sometimes I'm like, for this very simple thing, maybe I should just choose a cheaper one, because I don't think it will be something super, you know, like it's, for example, we have some knowledge sharing sessions, and I want to make a quick announcement, right? So I just say, hey, this is the JSON. Create a small announcement based on this information. And for me, this is a very simple task. So I would imagine that 3.5 is good enough. But it's a bit like, yeah.
I'm not completely agreeing, but depends. Well, yeah, if you tested it for the use case and it's good enough, yeah, sure. Okay. The 3.5 today is like Stone Age, right?
That's how it feels, right? That's how it feels, right?
Yeah.
And you know, I think I mentioned it before, but at Datatopics, we did some stuff with GPT-4o, I want to say.
Yeah.
With the Auto and Joker. Yeah. Before it was cool.
And then it was like it's come so far in so little time. Like it generating a sentence that made sense was like, whoa.
Yeah.
It's a sentence.
Yeah, it's like with the generated images as well.
Yeah.
Even if you go on the Datatopics and you scroll down with the thumbnails, that was a field that was Gen AI.
Yeah.
Actually, maybe I can
you usually like squint a bit, like, oh yeah.
Like,
I recognize this is an animal.
I can kind of see this Datatopics. I think for Pandas and Friends. Great episode. You had a great guest back then. And yeah, like he was like, oh yeah, you can kind of see a little here. This was Gen AI back in, when is this? July 2022. And we're like, whoa, you can kind of see a panda here. That's crazy. That's crazy good. And now he's like, pfft. Oh, actually, I'm not even sharing this. Huh? There we go. Here. This was the state of the art.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's laughable.
Crazy, yeah.
Laughable.
We got a question.
Yes, we do. What do you guys think about companies that are utilizing GPT to build products? It looks like OpenAI is eclipsing all smaller projects built on top of GPT with GPTs, and now this Omni model. Thanks for the question. What do you think, Bart?
I think it's true.
I think it's true, but I also feel like a lot of this was a bit hacky in a way. Like it was very low-hanging fruits for them. But to me, it's also a matter of time until...
I think the premise is a bit like, so OpenAI releases ChatGPT 3.5, GPT-4, like it was very basic, right? Like you just has a very generic chatbot. And what you could very easily do is build a product around that. You add a bit to the prompt, you give a visual interface, you make something for a specific use case, and you leverage their endpoint basically just for the model. And what came them is that you now can create your own custom GPTs. So there is very little, so probably 80% of those use cases you can now just make in a custom GPT. Especially with now that you also have the ways to basically to call external endpoints in a custom GPT, so like suddenly a very rich functionality like built into ChatGPT, and then you still have some use case where you could combine video and stuff like that, like in something custom. And now they also have that. I think that is a point that Kieran has been making, and that's very true. But it's that's a danger if you're fully leveraged off something that someone else built.
Yeah, and I think, but I also, I mean, ideas are ideas, right? And I think OpenAI has. Like they're set up in a way that is, they have the money, they have the compute power, they have the people, you know, it's like, yeah, like if they see a good idea, they're going to be like, why won't I do it?
I think the challenge of building products of this to make a difference is to not build something generic, build something for a very specific niche domain where it doesn't make sense to build something for.
Yeah.
Entity like OpenAI.
Yeah, and I think a while ago, like maybe some years, no, maybe not years, but a year ago, maybe, that was also a bit my opinion, my prediction that we're gonna have more specialized AI models, which we do see some of it, but I also feel like the popularity of ChatGPT is there because it is generic. Like it's everyone like, oh, what are you doing? Doesn't matter. ChatGPT, that's the way to go. And I think everyone was thinking about ChatGPT. That's why it also got very popular. I still feel like there will be at one point we will have more specialized things, not for the general public, but like for example, we talked about Snowflake Arctic, which is very specific for what they want, you know. And I still think there's a space for that. But I still feel like the really generic, the foundation models, the thing that everyone go through, I think people are gonna keep working on this more than I had anticipated. You know, will still be the main.
Yeah, sure, but I think if you build something very specific, even if you build this off of OpenAI, that there is a room to do that. Let's say I'm taking something super completely random here, right? Like let's say you have a management tool for a soccer club, and you have an ability there, like OpenAI powered to basically suggest the scheduling of teams on a play day. Saying something random here, right? I mean, that is so random. Like OpenAI is never going to compete with you.
Yeah, that's true.
Like that's so niche. I mean,
in a way, it's almost like AI, like traditional AI. Yeah? Like if you have like churn, you have this, you have that, something very okay, anyone can do it. But if you have something like for X-rays and ultrasounds combined, we need to diagnose this instead of so specific, then those are the cases that you really should build something very custom, right? It's like, in a way, it's not the same maybe, but it definitely rhymes.
Yeah.
Right. Agree. No, but that I agree. I agree. And I also think that this space, and I think we talked about it when we talk about the GPT coach, where we have like it's almost the science is very well documented, but we still need a human interface kind of that these maybe even now with this ChatGPT-4o, it will become even more. I'm thinking, for example, nutrition as well, right? You can have like very clear nutrition plans. But then people still go to a nutritionist, right? To give like I ate this and I didn't feel good. I ate that and but like in a way you could have bots or AI models that could fulfill this.
Yeah. Question is whether that is, but you can. I fully agree. But is OpenAI ever gonna make it a mission to be the best dietitian?
Yeah, not, no, right? That I agree.
So,
yeah. No, but I agree. Fully agree with you. And while we're on the Gen AI train, 11 Labs previews music generating AI model.
Yeah, and this comes only a few weeks after Suno released. Suno is another music generation tool.
We covered here when Mehdi was here. Yeah. Well, covered briefly, but
indeed. And Suno is already very impressive. So 11 Labs is very well known in already since a few years for generating synthetic voices and deepfakes. I think they're also really at the forefront of that. One of the leading players when it comes to synthetic voices. And it's now that they released their basically a music generation. Maybe we can play it like in the link below.
This one here. There's a.
Yeah, I think so. That one. Yeah.
Right.
We were having fun, programming young, dreaming that one day we'd make it work.
So it's still a very early preview, is what they say. So it's not something that is you can already try like Suno. But it sounds very good.
Sounds good. I feel like Suno. I had the impression that you still hear a bit the.
I have the feeling like in the vocals of Suno there are more artifacts. Where you can say this is not perfect. Here it is much less. Like it sounds much more natural. I have the feeling.
Yeah. I also wonder if they have the same strategy, because actually after we brought it up quickly when Mehdi was here, and then we were hypothesizing a bit, like they probably have a very large sample, and then they just kind of stitch it together with AI. So it's still AI generated that way, but a lot of it is just human, like beats and like.
Well, we don't know, right?
We don't know. We don't know. I'm not sure if this has a very different. So I guess what I'm trying to say here is like, it's impressive. I feel like if we could look under the hood, maybe it would be even more impressive if we see the different strategies. Because I think today, say like it's AI generated, like, yeah, but how much, right? Like maybe there is still a human in the loop. Maybe there's a lot of samples. What I think is also impressive is like the lyrics, like how they make sense, but they also rhyme and they also need to fit in a certain span, right? Like you cannot have very long sentences, and you have like there are some patterns there. I wonder how they do that. I know that at Datatopics we also had some initiatives for Gen AI music. Actually, if you go to Spotify and you go for the Beats AI, you can see some of the
competed
things.
in the AI song contest.
We did
a number of years,
which is like for people that don't know what it is, it's kind of like Eurovision for Gen AI. Let's see if I can find it here. Yeah, so they still go strong, I think. Yeah. So for people that want to participate, there's we can also put a link in the show notes. But yeah, like again, this is another thing that moved very quick. When we look back at what was done before, even when I was in PyCon Poland in 22, one of the keynotes was about Gen AI music. So there was also, and they've also talked a bit about the history and but like the evolution is really crazy. It's really mind blowing. Yeah. Have you made it? No, I actually said it's not open, right? I was going to ask if you made any hits with the 11 Labs, but I guess not yet.
Not yet, but I think the AI song contest next year, we'll just get these type of submissions. So
yeah.
11 Labs.
Yeah, which is yeah, I think so too.
It is what it is.
And maybe this links a bit with the question that we had. Do you think that OpenAI will eventually tap into those domains as well?
Music generation, you mean?
Yeah, I mean, because like voice, like if originally what we saw for 11 Labs is, yeah, I can put it back on the screen. It really says generate voice AI. So it's really just AI generation, which sounds a lot from the demo of the GPT-4o.
If I today would start a company that is that does vocal generation, music generation, I would really see OpenAI as a potential threat in the future.
Yeah, big threat, no?
This seems to be very easy for them to expand to.
Yeah, I feel like, yeah, indeed. It's I'll be if I was starting a company there, I'll be in constant anxiety mode.
Yeah.
You know, every day I'll be like, oh, did they do it yet? No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe and all these things are hosted on the cloud, right, Bart?
Yeah. How robust is that?
Yeah, right. It's do you trust the cloud, Bart?
I used to.
Okay, used to. Why am I saying that? Something that was announced, I think last week, I want to say. Thank you, Guardian. Google Cloud accidentally deletes UniSuper's online account due to unprecedented misconfiguration. So what is Unifund? For the people that do not know, I think it's like investment. Let me see. Something related with money. It's a financial institution for sure. And they even mentioned that the company had...
It's a big pension fund.
Pension fund in Australia. That's what I remember. Here, Unifund has approximately 125 billion, I guess, in funds under management, which I would consider that a lot of money. For someone like me, that is a lot of money. And what happened? So apparently, due to quote-unquote misconfiguration or quote-unquote one-of-a-kind misconfiguration, Google Cloud deleted the account, the private account from UniSuper. They were gone for like a week, I want to say. And now it's back online. Even if you go to Uni, I'll put the other link here.
So, if I understand what happened is that they're like when you look at Google Cloud, like the top level, what you have is that you have an account which is basically your subscription with Google Cloud.
Yeah.
And under that, you can have projects which are more like isolated workspaces where you can separate stuff. And it's really the at the parent level, the highest level, so the cloud subscription.
Yeah.
That got completely removed due to a quote-unquote misconfiguration. which is huge, right?
It's
like it's the
big.
worst thing that can happen.
It's a big fuck up, huge. And I think even they said like, yeah. So I think at one point here, they said, yeah, Google Cloud, they have the redundancy, right? So here, while UniSuper is normally has duplication in 2 geographies. So again, this is for people that are not super aware. Like if you put the data in the cloud, a lot of the times they have 2 versions of it in 2 different. So take another step back. Cloud is really a computer somewhere else, right? Like there's a lot of computers with a lot of data somewhere else that we don't know, right? People don't disclose it because otherwise if they did, then maybe someone will try to, I don't know, drop a bomb there or something, right? So it's secret, but they have in different locations. And a lot of the times if you store your data with Google Cloud, they'll also actually copy the data in 2 different geographical locations. And that's because if there's some environmental disaster, like a hurricane or something, and something gets damaged, you still have the data on the other one. And that's what they're referring here. While UniSuper normally has duplication in 2 geographies to ensure that if phone server goes down or lost, it can be easily restored. Because the phone's cloud subscription was deleted, it caused deletion across both geographies. So basically says, it's almost like someone goes on your Google Drive and deletes your, or maybe like you have a Google account and you have the email and you have Google Drive, right? And normally these things are separate, but like someone actually deleted your Google account, so you lost everything there. So again, UniSuper was able to eventually restore services because they had backups in other places, so their own stuff. So they didn't trust the cloud.
So it's thanks to another provider that they were able to recover within a week,
which is very
because they had backups in another place, which is wow. Like that's already smart, right? It's already good thinking of them, like to spread a bit like the dependencies that you have and to have to backup somewhere else. But like even then, like I think a lot of organizations would have just chosen to have, like, for example, backups in a separate project space or something like this, because you do not expect like your full subscription to be deleted. Like that is really like the worst case.
And again, this
a worst case that you probably discuss in a context like a big fund like UniSuper, but that everybody thinks, yeah, okay, we need to have a plan for that, but it will never happen.
Yeah, it's like insurance, right? Like
yeah.
I mean, even insurance, I think it's more likely to use insurance than something like this happens.
Exactly. Yeah.
And again, they mentioned a one-of-a-kind misconfiguration, so it really feels to me that someone really just push like terraform destroy, just destroy everything. So they did mention they did a root cause analysis. They already put like measures to not let this happen. I also think, yeah, maybe one person really messed it up, but at the same time, as an organization, you shouldn't have one single point of failure, right? Like you should have, like you shouldn't make it in a way that 100 people need to mess up at the same time for this to happen, and that wasn't the case. So not
this decreases, like these type of things decrease trust in Google Cloud as an enterprise-ready solution. Yeah. I'm wondering, like, if we will see like a detail. I think what Google should do, is like provide a detailed debrief of what went wrong, what they fixed, why it can't happen anymore in the future.
Yeah, I think it's it's.
And I hope we will see that in the coming weeks.
Yeah, I'm wondering, like, even if it's like embarrassingly.
I think they should, even if it's embarrassing, be transparent, like what happened and how are we going to make sure that it doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah, but I already feel like, and if there's a new project, people are going to be like, are you going to Google? No, like, oh no.
No, this is big. Huh?
It's going to be like, that's the most fundamental, right? If you have the Maslow hierarchy of needs, I think this is the very bottom. Huh? If you cannot guarantee that, even if it's one in, 100 years, it's like, still happen, huh? People are going to remember that. Even so, this is the UniSuper. They made a joint statement. Also, there were a lot of fears that they were hacked, right? Because it's so they meant, no, it's not hacked. It's better and worse at the same time. Something that really shouldn't have happened.
We didn't leak anything. We just lost everything.
So they made it. So this is an announcement from UniSuper CEO and the Google Cloud CEO. So I think also the people involved kind of highlight how much of a big deal it is. And I thought it was funny that even if I went to their homepage, the first thing they said, UniSuper services are now back online. This is like their new landing page. It's okay. It's like that meme, with the doodle of the dog and everything's on fire. It's like, this is fine. It's like that. That's how I feel. Okay. Do we have time for a hot take? Do we have time for a hot take, Bart?
I don't know. Only if we can find a snippet. Oh, we do.
So,
Curious what it is. You brought one.
I brought it one.
Yeah.
So it's my hot take. My opinion. I'm a Python developer in a way, right? Machine learning engineer, but I guess Python is my bread and butter, and I love Python. But I noticed that a lot of CLI tools, I actually built a CLI tool in Python, but I see a lot of CLI tools.
What is a CLI tool?
CLI.
Before we go into this.
Good question. It's a command line interface.
Okay.
So tool, right? So you have a terminal. Here's just the thing. Like if you look at the hackers, the things like they have a black screen and then you just have a cursor and you type things and things happen. And basically, it's a tool for that. So how you manage these things, right? So there are a lot of CLI tools that are built with Python. And just to name a few, AWS CLI is built in Python. So you can go
like any tool on the command line is a command line interface.
Yeah.
That
anything on the
interfaces
command
with
line.
more or less. Unless it's a TUI.
Yeah. And I think the difference there is that a TUI
is a textual user interface. It's more or less like you're working in your visual.
TUI is terminal user interface.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Textual is the tool.
Yeah.
Textual is that framework that builds TUIs.
Terminal user interface. So that's really like a visual interface built from text characters.
Yeah.
Right?
But like a lot, like the terminal today, they're actually very powerful. You can actually use the cursor. You can click. You can, there's a lot of stuff. You can actually add some animation, some graphs.
So with a TUI, you actually enter a UI, even though it's text-based. You enter a UI with a command line interface. You have a tool, but you stay on your terminal, right? You don't enter anything else.
Exactly. Maybe
that's a way I look at it.
Yeah.
And you're saying you built a lot in Python. You actually built a CLI tool recently, and you're gonna come up with a hot take now.
Yeah, I just maybe just so people that are following the live stream. This is an example. This is an example of a TUI. This is all in your terminal, right? But you can have a lot of like interactivity. You can drag. You can do all these things. And a CLI tool, it's not like it's more basic, I guess, in a way. Let's see. And for people watching, is basically what Bart described. But just kind of, for example, GitHub has, or AWS, if you want to do this, or curl.
Like a prompt, or you have like a multiple choice, or you need to enter something like this.
Exactly. So my hot take is Python. Though I love the language, it's a very bad tool. It's a very bad programming language choice for CLIs. Very bad.
It's not a hot take. That's real life.
But the thing is, like, I put it as a hot take because when you look at like AWS CLI is in Python, Azure CLI is in Python, Google Cloud CLI is in Python, DNF is in Python, Yum is in Python. If it's really that bad, and again, that's what made me question. It's like I think it's a very bad decision, and I'll get to some reasons in a second. But you see it everywhere. But
isn't this also a bit like how old are these products that you're describing? Because if you say it's a bad tool, what would you choose today to build it in?
Rust.
Or?
Well, I guess you could use C or even Go. Or
no, C. Why would you use C for a CLI?
I mean, I wouldn't use it, but I think
that anything memory management,
anything is compiled. Go. Even if you like,
I would say if I would say today, so go for Go or Rust.
I mean, Rust is a very popular tool these days, right? But Go, I would say like.
Even Go is even like it's less complexity. I think for a lot of things depends a bit on use. But let's say Go or Rust. But if you say these are things that have a bit especially Go, like the simplicity of Python, like the Go and Rust were not around this maturity when all the tools that you were just mentioned were being built, right? So you also have this legacy aspect to it.
No, I definitely, but AWS CLI, Azure CLI,
and Python was shipped with is shipped with every Linux distro, right? Where these tools
that I agree, but I think, for example, there's a new Python version. I upgrade my Python version, my Google Cloud CLI breaks. There's a lot of issues with DNF,
and because we're not actually discussing why is Python a bad tool for this. I think the reason is probably like with Python is an interpreted language.
Yes.
So you need to have the interpreter, your Python binary installed next to your the files coming from your CLI, and then your CLI might use some libraries that are even extra dependencies that you also need to get installed.
Yep.
And you have ways to pack this all together and then distribute it, but it's a bit of a hassle, and it's very hard to do this in a cross-platform compatible manner.
Yeah. So to summarize is exactly what you're saying, but to summarize is like you have for me to use the Google Cloud CLI, what I need to know is what Python version I'm using, all the dependencies that Python version uses, and the versions of those dependencies.
Yeah.
Right. So every time if I update the Python, maybe the dependencies are not available anymore. So I need to keep track of all these things. And a lot of these dependencies is just more Python code, or it can be C, like compile code or whatever. But if I have 3 CLI tools and they have 3 times the same dependency, then potentially I have 3 I mean, I guess with compile stuff it doesn't matter. Like you will still have this issue. But then you're also duplicating some files, maybe, right? You also have like a lot of I think npm also is like so that's for JavaScript and Node, right? But they also have an approach to try to minimize, because I think from my understanding, and you are more experienced than me on this, for like JavaScript projects, usually you have the node modules within your project directory that it's almost like a copy of all the dependencies that you have. But then if you have 5 JavaScript projects, you have 5 node modules, and if the dependency is a dependency for all 5 projects, then you have the same files duplicated in all 5 projects.
Yeah, but I think if you look at, I want to build a CLI that is a bit independent of the projects that you're working on.
Yeah.
And you do this in JavaScript, you have the same challenges they
No,
have in
JavaScript
Python.
for sure. Anything that is interpreted for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Anything that is interpreted.
And I think it's like, how should you install Python? You know, and then you have like PyEnv, and then you have another tool, I forgot the name, AST or ASDF or something for installing. You have Brew, and then you have to make sure that they're not, maybe you don't want to reinstall it again, but maybe you need to have symlinks, and then you have tools like pipx, then you know that basically create a different environment for each tool. Like, and you have all these things to work around. But to me, these are all.
But I think like depends a bit like today also, like who are you building the CLI from? Like, is this for an internal team and tooling around an internal product that is fully built in Python?
Yeah,
that's maybe a good argument to do it in Python.
No,
right?
I fully agree, and I also think is like if you don't want to spend too much time building this, I also think Python is a good choice. You can get going very fast.
What I like very much with Go, and you can actually do the same in Rust. When I built like a CLI in Go, what you can do in Go is cross compilation. So you can do it in Rust as well, and it means actually that you can, from, let's say you're doing your builds, let's say in CI/CD in a Linux environment. From that environment, you can actually cross compile to Windows compatible binaries, or to Darwin, which is OS X compatible binaries.
Yeah,
and that's very like also that like how do you build from multiple environments comes out of the box with these things.
Yeah, indeed. I feel like
well, if you go to our strategy where you say I'm gonna have this Python CLI, I'm gonna need to bootstrap an interpreter, bootstrap like the libraries, and I'm gonna package all that together in a way that I can execute it. If you do that, because that's how a lot of Python CLIs are distributed, like it's very specific to the environment where you're gonna deploy this, how you need to do this.
But I also think that, and again, PyCon Poland, there was also a talk for, I think, DNF, people from Red Hat, that they were saying that if you do Python, sudo Python upgrade pip or something, because there are some paths, even if you ship your own, like it will, like everything will get messed up, like if, depending on the environment, because of the paths and the symlinks and all these things, right? And then they had like, I mean, it was a very interesting talk, you know, but they were explaining what he tried to do to solve it. And every time at the end of the talk is like, yeah, nothing really worked, right? And even afterwards, I talked to him and says, yeah, we're probably gonna go with compile language, like C++ or something, you know. So again, we make it work. The Python community is a very good one, and I think they make a lot of auxiliary tools for this, but I don't think it's a good choice. If I have to build, the other thing too is like I'm going to install AWS CLI. There are tools like pipx, right, that mitigate a lot of these issues. But for me to use pipx, I need to know that the CLI tool that I'm installing is written in Python, which sometimes you don't know.
True.
Right. So those have been my.
So it's not that hard of a take.
Well, for this group, no. But if
maybe
someone-
for really Pythonista.
Yeah. Well,
aren't you a bit of a Pythonista?
I am a bit. But
You're a pragmatic Pythonista.
Yeah, I identify as that.
Oh.
But I think indeed, again, I'm not gonna pretend like I mean, if all these tools are written in Python and they have success, who am I to say that they're wrong?
Also true. Also
it's the evidence. So,
that
was it. We didn't have a tech topic, but a tech. No, actually, we did the 11 labs.
Yeah, but we have an intention. So we sometimes like bring up very technical library stuff, like these type of things, and we feel it's a nice combination.
Yeah.
And we're going to try to have every episode, like we bring up one nice, interesting library in whatever language.
One library a day. One library a week.
One library a week.
Part will come up with the rest.
Keeps the mind at peak.
Aren't you a poet? Look at that. Swordsmith with words. Part, the one and only. Can we get an applause for that, Alex, you think? It's right there, huh? Okay. Cool. Indeed. If you think it's a good idea, bad idea, feel free to reach out to Alex.
Thanks, everybody, for listening.
Thanks, y'all.
Thanks, Alex, for helping us once again.
Of course.
Yes. See you next week. Actually, I'm off next week. I'll see you sometime.
The people will see us next week.
Yes.
We will still publish.
Ciao.
Ciao.
And when are you gonna update
You have taste in a way that's meaningful to software people.
Never.
Hello, I'm Bill Gates.
When are you going to update this?
Oh,
I
we
would
need to add new
recommend,
samples to it.
TypeScript. Yeah, it writes
maybe next week
a lot of code for me, and usually it's slightly wrong.
I'm reminded
I typically update these sounds when I'm bored in the evening.
Congressman,
I need to
iPhone
find
is
like
made by a different company, and so
You will not learn Rust while skydiving.
Boy, I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what's going on.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you today about large neural networks. It's really an honor to be here.
Rust. Data topics.
Welcome to the data.
Welcome to the Data Topics Podcast.